Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
A condition or position in which you find yourself. The unpleasant situation, or position, of having to choose between two evils. A job in an organization. The spatial property of a place where or way in which something is situated. The position of the hands on the clock. The particular portion of space occupied by something. A rationalized mental attitude. An opinion that is held in opposition to another in an argument or dispute. A way of regarding situations or topics, etc. The arrangement of the body and its limbs. The relative position or standing of things or especially persons in a society. Atheists do not enjoy a favorable position in American life. A point occupied by troops for tactical reasons. Put into a certain place or abstract location. The act of putting something in a certain place. An item on a list or in a sequence. Moved from third to fifth position. The post or function properly or customarily occupied or served by another. Cause to be in an appropriate place, state, or relation. In team sports, the role assigned to an individual player. What position does he play? The act of positing, an assumption taken as a postulate or axiom. The appropriate or customary location. The cars were in position. A condition or position in which you find yourself. The unpleasant situation, or position, of having to choose between two evils. A job in an organization. Physical position in relation to the surroundings. The general state of things, the combination of circumstances at a given time. The present international situation is dangerous. A complex or critical or unusual difficulty. The dangerous situation developed suddenly. A job in an organization. Secure in or as if in a berth or dock. A bed on a ship or train, usually in tiers. Come into or dock at a wharf. A place where a craft can be made fast. Provide with a berth. A job in an organization. A short personal letter. Provide housing for military personnel. Lodging for military personnel, especially in a private home. A job in an organization. The actions and activities assigned to or required or expected of a person or group. Professional or clerical workers in an office. The whole office was late the morning of the blizzard. Of a government or government official, holding an office means being in power. Being in office already gives a candidate a great advantage. Place of business where professional or clerical duties are performed. He rented an office in the new building. An administrative unit of government. A religious rite or service prescribed by ecclesiastical authorities. The offices of the Mass. A job in an organization. Assign a location to. A point located with respect to surface features of some region. This is a nice place for a picnic. Assign a rank or rating to. The particular portion of space occupied by something. He put the lamp back in its place. A particular situation. If you were in my place, what would you do? Assigned to a station. A space reserved for sitting, as in a theater or on a train or airplane. He sat in someone else's place. Recognize as being. Establish the identity of someone or something. Where you live at a particular time. Your place or mine. Identify the location or place of. Locate. Take a place in a competition, often followed by an ordinal. Put into a certain place or abstract location. A public square with room for pedestrians. Make an investment. Proper or designated social situation. He overstepped his place. A blank area. Any area set aside for a particular purpose. Who owns this place? Estimate. An item on a list or in a sequence. In the second place. Intend, something, to move towards a certain goal. The post or function properly or customarily occupied or served by another. Took his place. A general vicinity. He comes from a place near Chicago. An abstract mental location. He has a special place in my thoughts. Assigned to, a job or a home. Finish second or better in a horse or dog race. He bet $2 on number 6 to place. Place somebody in a particular situation or location. He was placed on probation. Proper or appropriate position or location. A woman's place is no longer in the kitchen. Sing a note with the correct pitch. The passage that is being read. He lost his place on the page. To arrange for. Place a phone call. A job in an organization. He occupied a post in the Treasury. Mark with a stake. Transfer, entries, from one account book to another. United States manufacturer of breakfast cereals and postum, 1854 to 1914. United States female author who wrote a book in a syndicated newspaper column on etiquette, 1872 to 1960. Military installation at which a body of troops is stationed. This military post provides an important source of income for the town nearby. Cause to be directed or transmitted to another place. Assigned to a station. A pole or stake set up to mark something, as the start or end of a racetrack. A pair of posts marked the goal. The system whereby messages are transmitted via the post office. In England they call mail, the post. Place so as to be noticed. Post a sign. Mark or expose as infamous. Any particular collection of letters or packages that is delivered. Is there any post for me? The position where someone, as a guard or sentry, stands or is assigned to stand. A soldier manned the entrance post. United States aviator who in 1933 made the first solo flight around the world, 1899 to 1935. Affix in a public place or for public notice. Post a warning. An upright consisting of a piece of timber or metal fixed firmly in an upright position. He set a row of posts in the ground and strung barbed wire between them. Assigned to a post. Put into a post. The newspaper posted him in Timbuktu. Display, as of records in sports games. Enter on a public list. Publicize with, or as if with, a poster. I'll post the news on the bulletin board. Ride Western style and bob up and down in the saddle in rhythm with a horse's trotting gait. The delivery and collection of letters and packages. It came by the first post. A job in an organization. An act that brings discredit to the person who does it. A small contrasting part of something. A bald spot. A lamp that produces a strong beam of light to illuminate a restricted area, used to focus attention of a stage performer. A point located with respect to surface features of some region. A bright spot on a planet. A mark on a die or on a playing card, shape depending on the suit. An outstanding characteristic. A small piece or quantity of something. A spot of tea. A slight attack of illness. Detect with the senses. A blemish made by dirt. Make a spot or mark onto. The wine spotted the tablecloth. Catch sight of. Mar or impair with a flaw. A business establishment for entertainment. Night spot. A playing card with a specified number of pips on it to indicate its value. An 8 spot. A section of an entertainment that is assigned to a specific performer or performance. They changed his spot on the program. A short section or illustration, as between radio or TV programs or in a magazine, that is often used for advertising. Become spotted. This dress spots quickly. Mark with a spot or spots so as to allow easy recognition. Spot the areas that one should clearly identify. The spatial property of a place where or way in which something is situated. He specified the spatial relations of every piece of furniture on the stage. Characteristic way of bearing one's body. Stood with good posture. Capability in terms of personnel and materiel that affect the capacity to fight a war. Politicians have neglected our military posture. A rationalized mental attitude. The arrangement of the body and its limbs. Assume a posture as for artistic purposes. Behave affectedly or unnaturally in order to impress others. She postured and made a total fool of herself. A rationalized mental attitude. Standing posture. An opinion that is held in opposition to another in an argument or dispute. There are two sides to every question. An elevated geological formation. The house was built on the side of a mountain. A surface forming part of the outside of an object. He examined all sides of the crystal. Sports. The spin given to a ball by striking it on one side or releasing it with a sharp twist. A lengthwise dressed half of an animal's carcass used for food. A family line of descent. He gets his brains from his father's side. A line segment forming part of the perimeter of a plane figure. The hypotenuse of a right triangle is always the longest side. An aspect of something, as contrasted with some other implied aspect. He was on the heavy side. An extended outer surface of an object. He turned the box over to examine the bottom side. A place within a region identified relative to a center or reference location. They always sat on the right side of the church. Either the left or right half of a body. He had a pain in his side. Located on a side. Side fences. One of two or more contesting groups. The Confederate side was prepared to attack. Take sides for or against. The appearance of things relative to one another as determined by their distance from the viewer. A way of regarding situations or topics, etc. The act of looking or seeing or observing. He tried to get a better view of it. See or watch. View a show on television. Graphic art consisting of the graphic or photographic representation of a visual percept. Figure 2 shows photographic and schematic views of the equipment. Look at carefully, study mentally. View a problem. A way of regarding situations or topics, etc. Consider what follows from the positivist view. The range of the eye. They were soon out of view. A personal belief or judgment that is not founded on proof or certainty. The visual percept of a region. The most desirable feature of the park are the beautiful views. A message expressing a belief about something. The expression of a belief that is held with confidence but not substantiated by positive knowledge or proof. Deemed to be. She views this quite differently from me. The range of interest or activity that can be anticipated. Outward appearance. They look the same in outward view. Purpose. The phrase, with a view to, means, with the intention of, or, for the purpose of. He took the computer with a view to pawning it. The arrangement of the body and its limbs. He assumed an attitude of surrender. A complex mental state involving beliefs and feelings and values and dispositions to act in certain ways. He had the attitude that work was fun. A theatrical pose created for effect. The actor struck just the right attitude. Position of aircraft or spacecraft relative to a frame of reference, the horizon or direction of motion. A state at a particular time. The current status of the arms negotiations. The relative position or standing of things or especially persons in a society. He had the status of a minor. A point occupied by troops for tactical reasons. A narrative poem of popular origin. Characteristic of those who are not members of the clergy. The lay ministry. Put in a horizontal position. Lay the books on the table. A narrative song with a recurrent refrain. Put into a certain place or abstract location. Impose as a duty, burden, or punishment. Lay a responsibility on someone. Lay eggs. This hen doesn't lay. Not of or from a profession. A lay opinion as to the cause of the disease. Prepare or position for action or operation. Lay a fire. Introduce. This poses an interesting question. Be a mystery or bewildering to. A deliberate pretense or exaggerated display. Put into a certain place or abstract location. Assume a posture as for artistic purposes. We don't know the woman who posed for Leonardo so often. Behave affectedly or unnaturally in order to impress others. Pretend to be someone you are not, sometimes with fraudulent intentions. She posed as the Tsar's daughter. Affected manners intended to impress others. A posture assumed by models for photographic or artistic purposes. Attribute or give. She put too much emphasis on the last statement. Formulate in a particular style or language. I wouldn't put it that way. Arrange thoughts, ideas, temporal events. I put these memories with those of bygone times. Put into a certain place or abstract location. Make an investment. The option to sell a given stock, or stock index or commodity future, at a given price before a given date. Estimate. We put the time of arrival at 8 p.m. Adapt. Put these words to music. Cause someone to undergo something. He put her to the torture. Cause to be in a certain state. Cause to be in a certain relation. That song put me in awful good humor. An unofficial association of people or groups. The smart set goes there. Get ready for a particular purpose or event. Set up an experiment. Several exercises intended to be done in series. He did 4 sets of the incline bench press. Representation consisting of the scenery and other properties used to identify the location of a dramatic production. The sets were meticulously authentic. A relatively permanent inclination to react in a particular way. The set of his mind was obvious. Disappear beyond the horizon. The sun sets early these days. Decide upon or fix definitely. Put or set seeds, seedlings, or plants into the ground. Establish as the highest level or best performance. Set a record. Urge to attack someone. Set down according to a plan. A carefully laid table with places set for 4 people. Usually followed by to or for, on the point of or strongly disposed. We are set to go at any time. Converted to solid form, as concrete. Make ready or suitable or equip in advance for a particular purpose or for some use, event, etc. Determined or decided upon as by an authority. The time set for the launching. Equip with sails or masts. Insert a nail or screw below the surface, as into a countersink. Locate. The film is set in Africa. Fixed and unmoving. With eyes set in a fixed glassy stare. Put into a certain place or abstract location. Adapt for performance in a different way. Set this poem to music. Psychology, being temporarily ready to respond in a particular way. The subject set led them to solve problems the familiar way and to overlook the simpler solution. Become gelatinous. Situated in a particular spot or position. A house set on a hilltop. Fix conclusively or authoritatively. Set the rules. Evil Egyptian god with the head of a beast that has high square ears and a long snout, brother and murderer of Osiris. Arrange attractively. Alter or regulate so as to achieve accuracy or conform to a standard. Estimate. The process of becoming hard or solid by cooling or drying or crystallization. He tested the set of the glue. Bear fruit. Set in type. My book will be typeset nicely. A group of things of the same kind that belong together and are so used. A set of books. Any electronic equipment that receives or transmits radio or TV signals. The early sets ran on storage batteries. Apply or start. Set fire to a building. A unit of play in tennis or squash. They played 2 sets of tennis after dinner. Being below the horizon. The moon is set. Fix in a border. The goldsmith set the diamond. Give a fine, sharp edge to a knife or razor. Mathematics, an abstract collection of numbers or symbols. The set of prime numbers as infinite. Put into a certain state. Cause to be in a certain state. Set the house afire. Put into a position that will restore a normal state. Set a broken bone. Set to a certain position or cause to operate correctly. Set clocks or instruments. The act of putting something in position. He gave a final set to his hat. The descent of a heavenly body below the horizon. Before the set of sun. The act of putting something in a certain place. Military installation consisting of a prepared position for sighting a weapon. A determination of the place where something is. The act of putting something in a certain place. A determination of the place where something is. The act of putting something in a certain place. A point or extent in space. A workplace away from a studio at which some or all of a movie may be made. They shot the film on location in Nevada. The spatial property of the way in which something is placed. The placement of the chairs. The act of putting something in a certain place. Contact established between applicants and prospective employees. The agency provided placement services. Causing to fall into line or into position. The act of putting something in a certain place. The post or function properly or customarily occupied or served by another. In lieu of. The post or function properly or customarily occupied or served by another. Can you go in my stead? The procedure that is varied in order to estimate a variable's effect by comparison with a control condition. Develop a child's or animal's behavior by instruction and practice, especially to teach self-control. Specify as a condition or requirement in a contract or agreement. Make an express demand or provision in an agreement. The state of good health, especially in the phrases, in condition, or, in shape, or, out of condition, or, out of shape. A state at a particular time. A condition, or state, of disrepair. Usually plural, a statement of what is required as part of an agreement. The contract set out the conditions of the lease. An assumption on which rests the validity or effect of something else. Information that should be kept in mind when making a decision. A mode of being or form of existence of a person or thing. The human condition. An illness, disease, or other medical problem. A heart condition. Apply conditioner to in order to make smooth and shiny. I condition my hair after washing it. Establish a conditioned response. Put into a better state. He conditions old cars. A course of reasoning aimed at demonstrating a truth or falsehood. The methodical process of logical reasoning. I can't follow your line of reasoning. A slight depression or fold in the smoothness of a surface. His face has many lines. Mechanical system in a factory whereby an article is conveyed through sites at which successive operations are performed on it. A connected series of events or actions or developments. Historians can only point out those lines for which evidence is available. The road consisting of railroad track and roadbed. A conceptual separation or distinction. There is a narrow line between sanity and insanity. A succession of notes forming a distinctive sequence. A conductor for transmitting electrical or optical signals or electric power. The principal activity in your life that you do to earn money. He's not in my line of business. Make a mark or lines on a surface. Draw a line. Often plural, a means of communication or access. Lines of communication were set up between the two firms. The descendants of one individual. His entire lineage has been warriors. Space for one line of print, 1 column wide and 1/14 inch deep, used to measure advertising. A short personal letter. Drop me a line when you get there. A telephone connection. Be in line with, form a line along. Trees line the riverbank. The maximum credit that a customer is allowed. A particular kind of product or merchandise. A nice line of shoes. A pipe used to transport liquids or gases. A pipeline runs from the wells to the seaport. A commercial organization serving as a common carrier. Acting in conformity. In line with. A formation of people or things one behind another. The line stretched clear around the corner. A formation of people or things one beside another. The line of soldiers advanced with their bayonets fixed. A fortified position, especially one marking the most forward position of troops. They attacked the enemy's line. A length, straight or curved, without breadth or thickness, the trace of a moving point. A mark that is long relative to its width. He drew a line on the chart. A single frequency, or very narrow band, of radiation in a spectrum. A spatial location defined by a real or imaginary unidimensional extent. Cover the interior of. Line the gloves. Fill plentifully. Line one's pockets. In games or sports, a mark indicating positions or bounds of the playing area. Mark with lines. Sorrow had lined his face. Persuasive but insincere talk that is usually intended to deceive or impress. Let me show you my etchings as a rather worn line. Reinforce with fabric. Lined books are more enduring. Something, as a cord or rope, that is long and thin and flexible. A washing line. Text consisting of a row of words written across a page or computer screen. The letter consisted of 3 short lines. The principal activity in your life that you do to earn money.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.